which is why the Attorney General of North Carolina is asking people to not do, quote, what the president directs. And Josh Stein joins me now. Mr. Attorney General, thank you very much for being here. We read your Twitter thread about the president of the United States, who is encouraging people to do this. Why don't you just give them the message you're trying to convey to our viewers and obviously those in the state of North Carolina, which is a swing state, but also across the country who may be listening to what the president has to say?
Look, voting is absolutely important in our democracy. I encourage every eligible voter out there, no matter your partisan affiliation, to participate and have your voice heard. And in North Carolina, for eligible voters, it is safe, it's easy, and it's secure. You do not need to vote twice. And if you do what the president suggested, you run the risk of committing a felony in North Carolina. And I don't want anyone to commit a crime because of his terrible advice.
Yeah. So let's talk about North Carolina specifically in terms of people who are concerned about making sure that their vote counts. One of our colleagues, Dave Wasserman, raised a question about curing your mail-in vote. I don't fully have my head around what that means. So can you just explain to people what is it if they want to mail in their ballot? How do they make sure that their ballot gets counted?
Well, it's very easy. First of all, North Carolina, I'm proud to report, is the first state in the nation that has sent out their mail-in ballots. They started sending them out a week ago Friday. There have been more than 10,000 ballots already cast here in North Carolina. So people are voting in this election right now. I requested mine, haven't gotten mine yet, so I'm eagerly awaiting it. But there is an online tracking system where if you go to the State Board of Elections website, you give them your information, they will text and email you alerts. And they sent me an alert saying that my ballot has been shipped from the Board of Elections and I should expect it in the next 7 to 10 days. And then when you mail it back in, it will also text you that it was received and that it was valid. So there is absolutely no cause to go to an in-person voting because you will know online that your ballot was received. Or you can call them. If you don't have the internet, just pick up the phone and call the County Board of Elections. If folks are so dead set...
What if it comes back and says... I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. The delay is a little troublesome. But if you go online and it says your ballot is marked invalid, what do you do?
Well, in North Carolina, there was actually just a court decision that said that if there was a problem with your mail-in ballot, that you have the opportunity to cure it. The difference between a mail-in ballot and going to vote either early voting or in person on Election Day is you have to have a witness observe you cast your ballot, and then you have to sign your ballot, and the witness has to sign your ballot. Not everybody gets that absolutely right. And occasionally, historically, if you didn't have the witness done properly, your ballot would be discarded. Well, the court has ensured that in this election, if you have a problem with your ballot signatures, you have the opportunity to get that fixed, get it cured, so that your vote will count just as anyone else's.
And are you prepared? I mean, we just showed on the screen the number of ballots that have been requested. There were only 33,000 in 2016, 758,000 this time. Are you prepared to handle all of that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Most of those ballots have already gone out, and they will be received by people. My parents have already sent theirs back in. I told you I'm eager to send mine back in. One thing that North Carolina does that's very good is that they actually will review the ballots, ensure that they've been done properly, and then they will put them through the scanner weeks in advance of Election Day. They don't count them up. They wait until Election Day. But on Election Day, they'll press a button, and anybody who has voted early, either in-person early vote or early through absentee mail-in ballots, those votes will be tabulated on Election night, just as those who went to vote in person on Election Day. So we're going to have very solid results come Election nights here in North Carolina. There will still be some ballots that trickle in on day 1, day 2, day 3 after Election Day because they're valid. Mail-in ballots are valid as long as they're postmarked by Election Day. But the vast majority of ballots will be counted on Election Day.
Well, that is reassuring for those of us who are going to be covering election night as it happens. Good to know North Carolina will have much of its tally counted. Josh Stein, thank you very much for your time and that very helpful information for so many who are worried about making sure their vote counts.